ways of serving us. We have to acknowledge all aspects of self, especially when we're expanding. Especially when we're expanding. We can't ignore these people and these people, and as we gain access to more of ourselves, perfect example is, social media, for an example. It's a perfect example. Social media is, it's gaining us a deeper awareness and access to aspects of self. Now, there are things that are taking place on the internet that humans are doing that you really, really, really do not resonate with. And I'm pretty sure you're very, very aware of that. There's so much on the internet that you do not resonate with. Sometimes it can be sickening to scroll and see some of the activity that takes place. But these are all things happening amongst earth humanity. And once again, these are your brothers and sisters. Can you observe beyond judgment, beyond casting them out, beyond projection of contempt? And wanting them to, they don't belong here. They don't deserve love. They don't deserve God's unconditional love. Your ability to observe, acknowledge, and accept is necessary. This is the blessing in disguise that social media may provide. It was so much more comfortable when you were oblivious to the things taking place on the other side of the world. To kitchens and households and cultures and people who speak other languages and do other things. It was so much more comfortable before social media when you didn't have access, or at least the easiest access to these aspects of existence, these aspects of yourself. It was so much different. It was so much more comfortable. There's plenty of people that I talk to that say, oh, well, I just wish we could go back to the old days when we didn't have to see all that stuff and all these things that people are doing and all these injustices and crimes and the way they operate and the way they talk and what they eat and what they cook and how they cook. And they don't season and this. Like, there's so many people that would totally enjoy being able to return to the old days. Absolutely, out of sight, out of mind. It's like, social media is just so toxic. And it's like, no. You're just being granted more access to yourself. You have more opportunities to observe yourself and practice compassion and empathy, to practice more acceptance. Sometimes it's laughable to see some of this stuff, but once again, no, these are expressions and aspects of self expressing themselves. My balance is heightened by me being able to observe my brothers and sisters do their thing in whatever way they want to do it, and me not be emotionally affected, me not be emotionally manipulated or enraged or knocked off my kilter, or once again, me being emotionally engaged and somehow a victim to their actions emotionally. These are opportunities for me to accept myself more and more each and every day. Of course, this is the perspective of a master. Someone else may see it as a hindrance or a distraction. Oh, this ain't spiritual. This is just foul, and this disease that's just came onto the earth that just needs to be banished because we don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. It's like life is a lot smarter than you. A lot smarter than the ego. You're always seeing exactly what you're supposed to see. Can you accept what you see? Do you have the capacity of maturity to accept what you see? You ain't got to agree with it. You ain't got to co-sign. You ain't got to be for or against anything. In truth, as an unconditionally loving being, you're not here to be for or against anything. You're here to observe. You're here to hold the space of unconditional love, of acceptance of all. Yes, all aspects of self must do what they need to do. They have to do that in order to experience themselves. All experiences serve. Some souls are doing things that you wouldn't necessarily even want to do. But once again, those experiences are feeding the data into the human consciousness grid so you don't have to. And in truth, in many lifetimes before, and we said this before too, you've done everything that you see other people do. That was a requirement for you being here. You came to Earth to experience everything that the third dimensional experience had to offer. Every gender, every culture, every injustice, everything that you could imagine. That was the purpose of you coming to planet Earth as a soul. You came here to Earth to experience everything that Earth had to offer in a third dimensional capacity. Everything that was necessary. That's where compassion and empathy has its roots. In you having the experiences to know what it feels like to be in all of these people's shoes. You had to actually have the experience, to have the capacity of compassion and empathy to understand. Once again, all experiences serve you, beloved. All of it was necessary. It's just now you're in a space where you're prepared to balance and transmute these energies, where you have to have the maturity to accept, to be able to tap into the compassion and understanding of recognizing all of these different aspects of self and being able to accept them. Because you've had those experiences before, which could possibly allow you to recognize what mental space would be necessary to justify those particular actions. This is wisdom. This is wisdom. You had to have the experiences before to be able to implement the compassion and empathy, to exercise the unconditional love, because you understand. You understand because you've done it before. That's what's necessary for you to understand something. Not just intellectually, but emotionally. You had to actually have those experiences to understand, to have the emotional content of those experiences. So no, there are no mistakes, and no, Mark Zuckerberg and all these people, they're not responsible for showing you the armpits and buttholes of Earth's humanity. No, it was just necessary at this time. It's just necessary for you to recognize all of this now. All the things that you've done and that you've participated in the fullness of yourself. It's necessary for you to observe those things now to give yourselves the opportunity to transmute those energies. Now is the time for that. Great wisdom is in your ability to accept aspects of self with grace and humility, beyond high posting and projecting judgments, and these people are this, and they stupid, and they sleep, and humans are a disease, and I wish everybody would go, men should just die, if women didn't exist on the planet would be a better place, and all of these ideas based on the ego, all of these ideas. These are the things that have to be transmuted and recognized from a place of balance. All of that has to be triggered within you. All of that voice right there, all of those emotions, they have to come to the surface now for you to observe. and for you to choose love or fear, unity or separation, truth or illusion. Now is the time to choose. If it's too heavy for you and you just can't get over the fact that these people are doing this and these people are doing that, and you feel like you need to fight and get rid of these people, and they're the disease, they're the problem, and what have you, once again, there's still work to do. If you're not prepared to transmute those emotions and come to terms with yourself, with all reflections of self, the deception, the lies, the imbalance, the persecution, all of those things, it's all being triggered. All of it is coming up for you to observe and gather the strength or summon the strength to accept. Absolutely, you're just fighting yourself. And of course, fighting yourself is considered insanity. There will be no insanity in the heavenly realms. Gaia is no longer hosting insanity. And of course, insanity is an internal function. This is an internal distortion. You ain't entering the gates of heaven with that hate in your heart. Ain't no coming. No. If you still got it in there, you got to planet Earth is done with that. The time is a gift. This is the time. If you still dealing with all of that, any resentment towards certain aspects of self and race and so on and so forth, listen, beloved, this is the time. All the cards gonna get pulled. All the cards gonna get pulled, and these are things that you're going to truly have to look at emotionally. There's no faking it. There's no fake healing. Once again, no fake healing over here.